Hey everybody, it's your girl Heavenly B,
It's
and I'm
David.
here
How's it
with
going? David.
yeah, and we are back for another episode of the Prince George's weekly, daily, monthly, periodically. But we're really the Prince George's weekly. Okay, and we're here with another podcast review because it's just fun to listen to other people's um styles of podcasting and the things that interest us, as well as do a little bit of critique since we've been in the game for a while now. And critique can be positive and negative. You take the good, you take the bad, but our criticism is always from a good place, y'all. Okay. So this week was very special because we got to listen to some students from the beloved Prince George's Community College and see what they're doing over there in the Center for Performing Arts in the recording studio. And I have a special place in my heart for students, especially those at PGCC and David as well, because we are PGCC alum and we got our opportunity to really hone our skills in media at PGCC.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to the Owls.
Okay. So without me dragging this along, let's get right into the show. The show is called In Good Company. David, how did you feel? Just like, what was your first impression of this show? Let's just talk about the first 2 minutes, the intro.
Funny for me, when I saw it, I was like, oh, that place looks familiar. I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, it reminded me of what it was. Honestly, it was a nostalgic moment for me. Like it just took me
Hope
back to
so.
when we started. And so I kind of got a little excited because I'm like, humble beginnings, you never know where this will lead. So the first
Yeah,
couple minutes in, I'm like, well, first of all, I like the energy, like
yeah.
between the hosts. I was like, that wasn't like me at first at all. So I'm like, I remember it was a little scarier when we started, and it was a lot different. But they seemed to be ready for the moment, so that kind of stood out to me in the beginning.
Well, well, they're like 34 episodes in. So one thing I can say is that they're consistent. So they should be comfortable at this point, and it was felt because I think the episode was episode 34, which was impressive because I'm a detail person. I don't like always handling the details, but I like to pay attention to the details. So I don't look at the YouTube page and you know all of those things to see what they're actually doing. So starting out our review, the energy was really incredible, and I thought I was like, okay, this is something that I feel like I could sit here and listen to, like because it wasn't very monotone, very got dry eyes, try clear eyes. It wasn't that vibe. So I was like, I can listen to them, right? I like their enthusiasm, I like their tone, I like the way they speak. It's very clear, and their thoughts are good. But I got lost at like minute 3. So minute 1 and 2 is exciting. By minute 3, I started having some constructive criticism.
Yeah, like I said, I had some nostalgic moments, and then there maybe around, I'd say maybe around the third minute or so, because at some point I actually had to go back and re-listen because I'm like, wait a minute, did I miss something, or did this go? Did I follow, or did something happen? So I went back. I was like, wait a minute, where was it trained? Okay, okay. So
That's what it was, and that's exactly what it was. I feel like they had incredible talking points
yes.
and some good insight into each of them, but it was unorganized.
Hmm.
So, how did we jump from hello to this whole conversation? It was like no intro, no backstory, no no nothing. You just got in there.
Yeah, no
I
real
mean, for
script.
lack of a better, like no foreplay. You ain't work us up or nothing. You ain't get us ready. You just
Right. You
said,
just
"Hey,
got it. Just got it
take
made.
it. Yeah, just take it. I'm ready. I don't care if you're ready." And
Yeah.
so, I
And then
think
in the
if
middle of
I
that,
could give them any,
I'll say in the middle of all of that taken, it was just like, okay, and then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna try this. And it's like, wait, where do we
oh yeah, they got another idea. Oh, and then it's unorganized. But there was one point that one of the girls made that I've thought to myself, see, this is how we should have started it. And that was, I believe, when she started talking about going to an all girls school and how that shaped her identity. That was midway through the podcast. I was like, no, baby.
that should have
See, if I was your producer, I would have had you start out talking about how identities are shaped, how confidence is molded, the ability for confidence to be built and broken,
yeah.
and how your view of yourself was shaped. And you would start out talking about the influence of going to an all girls school. And that is going to shape how you look at things and how your confidence is formed, because now you're in constant comparison with girls all day, and you don't even have the energy of the male to balance it out. Neither do you have the gaze of the male to, maybe take some of the heat away from you comparing yourself to the other girls. It's literally just y'all. You're
Yeah.
looking at how long her hair is, or how skinny her waist is, or how popular she is. And it's a constant comparison. That's going to shape your experience differently than somebody who went to a school that was co-ed. So
Yeah.
that should have been the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they
Um,
mentioned at some point they mentioned bullying, but that was
Swept over.
towards the end, like that could have been a part of, again, because that affects how you view yourself. And everybody hasn't been bullied or bullied in the same way. So there are differences, but like you said, these things shape your view of yourself. So if you would have started by talking about being at an all-girl school, hey, I was at all-girl school, I was bullied because of my
Yes.
hair or because of this, that, and the third, then that sets the groundwork for everything else to
Mm-hmm.
follow. So,
Mm-hmm.
but like you said,
And
production.
because the talking points were great. I think they're really smart. You know me, so I'm a girl's girl. So I just I love them. I'm like, I love them
Yeah.
because I love women, particularly young women that are smart, that are insightful, that are doing things with their life, that are forward thinking. They seem like they have goals, and they seem like just really ambitious women, young women. So I'm like, oh, okay, do y'all think y'all can go far? I like the production, like the sound of the production. The quality sounded really, really good.
Yes.
I can tell that I don't remember her name. Not the girl, the main host. Or
Yeah.
are they co-hosts?
I, I
Okay.
don't know. But
Anyway,
I know which, yeah.
I like that she seems to be like into the marketing and the editing side of things. So they seem like a really great team. Because I heard her talk about something about the edit, what she wants to do in the edit, or right, what she wanted to put as the teaser at the front of the podcast. So I was like, okay, I like her ear. I like the way she's thinking. I like the quality of the pod. Just how it sounds, even from PG. And it even looked clear video wise. Now, it goes back to what we talked about last week about why people want to watch us. We don't know, but people do. They're sitting in the studio. There's nothing there but them, a mic in their face, and a wall. But the people want to see it. And so we must give the people what they want.
Yeah, apparently so in 2025.
Yes.
Right. But they
So,
definitely have something there, no question about it. Like
yeah.
the content was, I mean, we all that's a concept of what they were talking about is not something that's just, age specific. That's something
Yeah.
that's very broad that everybody deals with in some way, shape, or form. And so I like the fact that they didn't approach it as it was just a thing for their generation or only people after a certain age deal with this. Like it was very relevant, and
It is.
I like that. I like that.
It was thought provoking. It had me thinking. So that is a plus. If it makes you think, you already have something good. Now, do I think that the podcast is something that can span age ranges? Yes, in terms of the subject matter. Do I think that the delivery can span age ranges? No, I think it's very specific to their demographic, which is a good thing. It's not nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I don't think as a 37-year-old that I would tune in every week just because I'm probably a little bit past those thoughts have evolved. I've already lived through what they're living through, but I like their perspectives on it. Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where someone their age is going to be like an aha moment. For me, it was like a proud mama moment, like y'all been there. But I did think one thing that made me think was when they were talking about just the fluctuations that you have with your confidence, how some seasons you feel super confident. And then there are other seasons where you're like, I don't feel as confident as I once did, but then you go back up and you have fluctuations. I don't think that's talked about enough. So I really appreciated them talking about that because I've had those like conversations with myself or with my journal, like about, this season I was like feeling really, really good. This new season I'm in, I'm not really so sure of myself or my abilities or different things like that. And like just being clear, because everybody's like, oh, confidence. If you're confident, no, you can be confident and still have some insecurities. You can be confident today. Something can happen in your life to shoot that down a little bit. Like, why don't we talk about that enough?
Listen, I have not seen enough podcasts talking about imposter syndrome because I feel like the older you get, sometimes the more that hits because it seems like it multiplies the more successful you are in an ironic kind of way. Like the more you accomplish, the stronger those feelings of, but did I really do that? Or was that just a fluke? Or was that just a good time there? But am I able to sustain that? Like where I am now is not where I feel like I once was. And especially listen, as
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one to get you right there.
yeah, it's like I'm as a husband and father and all that, like you look over things and you as a married woman, listen, y'all look, we analyze things and sometimes, throwbacks are great and sometimes they lead to comparisons to current times. And it's like,
And again, that is something, that's why I said I love what my girls were talking about, but I think it's certain things that I've already gone through and got the aha about. So it's almost just like a confirmation or versus the aha. But what you're saying is very true. I have that like written in one of my journals. It was simply like, don't compare yourself to anybody, not even your old self. I had to tell myself, don't even compare yourself to an old version of you because you will still be lacking contentment if you do that. And that was during the season of my life where I really was comparing myself to the old me. I wasn't feeling as confident because my life was not looking like it did a few years prior. I was that girl a few years prior. Everything was going smooth and just like I had envisioned it. And then this new season came and nothing was going how I envisioned it. And I started comparing myself and it started stealing my joy. And then God was like, that's old. That's the old version of you. Stop comparing. Find the joy in this new season and in this new version of yourself. I'm doing something in you. I'm developing you. It's for your good. Relax.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Like they say, success is a journey and not a destination. And many times we get stuck thinking that the pinnacle is the end when the pinnacle is really just a part of the journey. Like there's a pinnacle that's going to lead to another pinnacle because your pinnacle today will be the floor tomorrow.
Your mountaintop is you just got another mountain to climb. That's it. One other thing though that I thought was good when they were talking about the confidence conversation was external validation, because we live in a world where, and I always try to explain this to people, but I be like in a minority when I explain this. But people always try to put all the 100% responsibility on the person to just be confident. You should just come out confident because you're you. No, we have no problem understanding the value of validating a young child, of saying, great job. Of heck, even when we're training our pets, we want to give them positive reinforcement, right? Because it builds confidence in their abilities, right? And it makes them want to do it again because they get praised for it and because they're recognized. Same with the child. We have no problem telling them great things, congratulating them for their honor roll so that they can want to perform well in school later, or telling them that they're beautiful, or that you like their outfit that they're picked. But for some reason, I don't know, once you get to a certain point, people feel like nobody should be able to break your confidence. Yeah. So we can build confidence, but we can't break it. If something can be made or can be built, it can also be broken. And so I like how they were talking about the external validation and how it does play a role in your confidence. It should not be 100% where you like draw from, but I'll use myself for an example because I was thinking when they were talking. There are certain things that I may feel about myself, good things. I'm like, oh yeah, like I feel like I killed that. But if I'm the only one that thinks it, I'm like, am I tripping? Or like, did I kill it? So once somebody else says the same thing, then it's like a confirmation, like, okay, I ain't delusional. Okay, so it's a confirmation. And once you have that confirmation, sometimes it does build your confidence in that thing that you're doing. Because like the girl said on the show, like, the reality is we live in a society, we live around people, and you are going to want some form of confirmation of the things that you're dealing with, that you're going through, or that you're accomplishing. And you want some claps sometimes, and especially from people who you value their opinion.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the strongest parts of the podcast to me, because it's true. It's like the reality is no man or woman is an island completely. And like you said, I think of it, suppose I'm a chef. If I say that my food tastes good and I love how I did it and I'm so confident, but then when I give it to other people, they don't like it.
Don't know about, or they don't say nothing. It ain't they don't like it. They don't say nothing. You just like, what the?
I'm like, this is the best whatever I've ever tasted, and they're like, all right, it's all right, or whatever. I'd have to at least be cognizant enough to listen and to hear their perspective. Doesn't mean that I'm a terrible cook or whatever, but how do you ever improve if you're the only one validating yourself at some point? That's why you have institutions of higher learning. You're not teaching yourself. You have somebody there who can either validate or direct you so that you can grow. So it's important.
So, yeah, you're right. So I was going to say, yeah, I think I like the example that you use. I was going to say, I think that when you start talking about them criticizing, then that becomes the thing that can break your confidence. People saying that they love the food is going to build your confidence to want to present it to more people because, oh, I got confirmation. Now I can send it to some more people. That cake I make. You want to know why I'm so confident? Because I ain't never had a person that didn't love it. Okay? So I can say 100% satisfaction rating. When I first made that game, well, it wasn't terrible, but it was terrible to me. I was like, I'm never making it again. My mom said, no, I just think you got like a couple of things you got to tweak. Go back to the drawing board, see what you got to fix. I went back, I fixed it. I gave it to my family first. They liked it. Boom, cool. Now I'm going to give it to some of my friends. They liked it. All right, cool. Boom, I'm selling that joint. And but each time that you get the external validation, it gives you the confidence to go to the next level. But I think what the girls were talking about in this particular instance was that middle, where
Mhm.
you get no feedback.
Yeah.
So you're not building me or breaking me down. I'm just
In limbo. I don't know where I
confused.
stand.
I feel this way, but like, what y'all think?
Right.
But the world has made it wrong to care about what somebody thinks. Like everybody's so confident. Nobody has no insecurities. And how dare you be the one that stick out and say, "Oh, I need validation." People will look at you like you I don't know, like you just poor woe is me person.
Yeah.
So I love the I love the courage that it took for them to have a conversation like this, and the
Yeah.
maturity and the emotional intelligence
I think that's what stood out. One of the emotional intelligence to me. I was like, listen, there is hope
for this
for young
generation.
people. There is hope because they were articulate. Like they actually, you could even hear them figuring things out as they talk. Like you could see it. It's like you guys are having a mature conversation and you're actually, processing things, and you're not just,
Mhm.
everything is not coming from the hip, even though, the direction could have stayed in a certain way, but you can tell that they were actually putting thought and effort behind this. And it wasn't just, oh, we got microphones, let's just shoot the breeze.
I think they're just naturally introspective people. I think they have done the work and they're really smart girls. And they were just having a conversation. Like I said, literally my only criticism is the organization, but the thoughts themselves, chef's kiss. Just
Yeah.
got to organize it. So I'm gonna listen to a few more episodes of their podcast just to see, because who knows? Maybe Mama Bear need to come in there and help them produce. Because they
Who
just need
knows?
it's like all of us. We just need, sometimes we have the juice and we
Mhm.
just need somebody to help us fine tune it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. A tweak here and a
All
tweak
of us.
there.
It's gonna be great. Yeah, just a
Yeah.
little fine tuning. And
Mhm.
they all listen, they might go out here and be the next big podcasters, you know?
They got the charisma for it, and the chemistry between those two is good. It's
And it
good.
wasn't
The
too
energy
long.
matches.
It wasn't
It's,
too
it
long.
was the shortest one we've reviewed thus far.
And I'm so happy. I was able to listen to it on my ride home. I wasn't overwhelmed with thoughts. It was just enough to keep me engaged, but not so much where I'm like, oh, hold up. My mind jumping from one thing to the next because you're packing so much information in one show. Like, no. Literally, I was able to think my couple of thoughts about confidence and my journey and cut the YouTube off and be happy and be pleased with what I got, and not have like a what do they call it when you get to information overload. It was not
Okay.
information overload.
No, it was. I think it, for what it is, it was right there. Like just a little tweaking, they could take this, because I think
Go
they definitely
girls.
have a niche. Like they got a niche, and they got a good thing going.
Go girls. I
Mhm.
agree. So anything else you want to add to them? Any advice you got for them before we wrap this up?
Listen, your brilliance and your creativity is shining through. Just add a little direction, and you guys, listen, the sky is not even the limit. Like you guys can take this wherever you want to go. You guys have the intelligence to cover a broad range of topics. So you're not just a one trick pony. All we get to talk about is fashion, or all we get to talk about is sports. You guys can talk about a lot of things. So just have a little more direction. You'd be great.
Mhm. Yep, I would say the same thing from your mama bear big sis. I can't say I don't know you, but I'm like the big sister that everybody wish they had. Okay. So yeah, keep going. You're doing great. Know who your demographic is. I feel like it's gonna be those college age students and those transitional phases in life as you all are going through. So really market and cater to your demographic and literally write your show plan out. Like prepare your show. And when I say do your prep work, I don't mean just talking about, hey, what are we going to talk about today? I mean, literally saying, hey, we're going to start out with the intro. We're going to do this backstory to lead into the main topic. We're going to talk about this, and then we may add like a fun interactive segment where your audience can get involved, whether it's sending a question in for you to write, or playing a game, or something that they get used to that's consistent in your show. And that's it. Sky's the limit. I'm very proud of you guys, and I don't even know you, but maybe one of these days I'll get to say hello. Okay?
Yes, indeed.
And so that is all for today's episode, guys. Thank you for joining us for another week of the Prince George's Weekly Podcast. Until next time, we love you guys. Peace.
Take care.
Bye-bye.